didn't find too much interest in him because I didn't find his job very interesting. But when I interviewed him, I found out very interesting things, and I hope that I am able to share them with you today. Please listen to my speech. Sano was born on August 10, 1974, and he is also an environmentalist, philosopher, nature lover, and peace activist. He's a graduate of UP with undergraduate and graduate degrees in philosophy and community development with focus on disaster management in relation to climate change. Sano was always interested in climate change because he knew how much of a big problem it is and he wanted to find ways to help avoid anything worse. Sano was involved in climate change issues since 1997 and has worked with local governments like in Lapu-Lapu City, where he helped in coastal projects, and in Sarsagon and in Bohol, where he helped in wildlife ecotourism projects. He was the head of the Climate Change and Energy Program of WWF Philippines, or World Wildlife Fund's Philippines. He was appointed Climate Change Commissioner in February 15, 2010. What does a climatologist do? A climatologist studies the climate, and unlike meteorologists, they don't just study the weather of today or tomorrow, but the long-term weather patterns. And Yeb described that part of his job is checking if there are stronger storms and if the sea levels are rising. The definition of climate change. Yeb mentioned that just like in the movie Ice Age, there was an era where the world was covered in snow and ice, but our time now is called interglacial, where most of the ice melted. This is the Northwestern Glacier in Alaska. The 1940 picture was compared with the 2005. With few exceptions, glaciers around the world have retreated at unprecedented rates over the last century. Climate change is natural if it takes about hundreds of thousands of millions of years. But because of human activities like burning of fossil fuels, we have lowered it down to about 100 years. And because we're putting too much greenhouse gases into our planet, though our planet is slowly getting hotter and hotter than it's supposed to be. And climate change is not just about global warming, but also sea levels rising, floods, stronger storms, and freezing cold winter. And our natural balance is disrupted. There are two types of climate change. Natural, where, for example, it is natural for the ice caps to be melting and for floods to come. And man-made, because of human activities, we are heating up the earth and melting the homes of penguins and polar bears. And did you know that 2014 was the warmest year in history? Maybe 2015 will be as well. If we continue our actions, this will keep on going until we're burned out. And if our planet gets too hot too fast, then plants and animals will not be able to survive and get extinct. And humans will have a hard time producing food for themselves. What can we expect from climate change? We know that as Filipinos, we know that our country is on the typhoon belt, and typhoons come frequently. We all know about the Typhoon Yolanda, which hit us in 2013 and affected a lot of people and was very strong. And in 2014, there was another typhoon called Ruby, which was also very strong. And before Ruby, there was a strong storm called Glenda, which was also very strong. Sano said that maybe this is the effect of climate change. More typhoons are coming more and more frequently. What can we do to minimize this? Sano mentioned that there was a World Risk Index for climate change, and the Philippines was #1 as the most dangerous country when it comes to climate change. So this means that we have the highest risk of being affected by climate change. Here, it says that the red is very high, and the Philippines is all red. So that means we have a higher chance. And in fact, the big polluting countries like China, United States, Russia, and India have contributed greatly to the pollution. But as Filipinos, we know our country is small and we can't fix everything ourselves. So we can do many things to minimize this. For example, we can stop littering around places so that drainage won't get clogged and we can avoid floods. We can also avoid cutting trees so that places and houses that live near the mountains are safer. And maybe we can also be like Sano and his family, using solar energy instead of electricity. How can we prepare for the coming storms? We can always prepare for the coming storms with an emergency kit. But in this emergency kit, we need certain things. We'll need a flashlight so that in case if we're in the dark, it won't be a problem. Water because we can't live without it. And the radio because we need to hear about the news. And we need to and when the rescuers come, they will be able to track us and know where we are if we are trapped somewhere. We also need canned goods because we need food that will last for a long time. And Mongolian. Sano said that he had a friend that told him that mango beans are healthy and you just need a wet tissue and then you just have to wait a few days and it will grow. Sano said we also need a first aid kit just in case if we get wounded. We'll also need batteries in case if the radio and the flashlight runs out. We'll also need cell phones to contact for help and our family and friends. We have to cooperate with the people we are with and help, and we have to work together to know where it's safe. Always stay safe and work and fight for the safety of our environment. Let us work together to better the earth. Thank you.
We have questions for Iya. Yes, AJ?
Does a solar panel work like it also reserves some energy in case that there isn't any sunlight, or it only works during the day?
Other flashlights have them.
So it stores. Right, AJ? Yes, Mark?
If someone donates like a lot of money to you, what would you do with it?
If somebody donated a lot of money to you, what would you do with it? His university.
But I'll have to know when to use it. For example, if storms hit a place very strong, I'll donate money to help them. Yes.
Do you think you share the same ideas with your IR person? Do you also want to protect our environment?
Yes. But
If so, how would you share it to the world? How would you promote ways on how to prevent climate change? Okay, based on your research, what ways have you found in helping prevent climate change?
in my research, I found out that because we litter, because of the human activities like littering around places, the drainage gets clogged and there are floods come. And so we should avoid littering and we should throw our trash in the right places.
Okay. So how would you promote these effective ways in preventing crime? How do you think?
By showing them how important our environment is and how much we can't live without it.
The IR is a very long process, right? It took us a lot of time. Yes. Which part of it did you enjoy doing the interviewing? Why did you enjoy it so much?
Because I was able to find out if my research on the internet was true or not, and I was able to learn different things about climate change.